This video is going to show you how to call a Open ConnectiQ web service from BluePrism. There's basically 3 steps. The first step is to build those web services using our development tool called Configure. I have Configure open and we can see that you can build several tasks. Each one of these tasks will be represented as a method within your web service. So I have a login task and it's already built and tested, but if I play it, it's going to make a connection to a mainframe, navigate through a handful of screens, and stop on a menu. And then I can execute other tasks from this menu. I can do a get claim, which will navigate from the menu into a very specific claim and return the details about that claim. So you use the Configure tool to build those web services, and then you deploy them to the ConnectIQ server. The next step is then within BluePrism, I have to define a web service. And I do that on the System tab. And I can either use SOAP or REST, but I'm going to use SOAP as an example. And you can add a new service. I'll just go ahead and edit the service that I have so you can see the details. The first step is the URL to the WSDL of your web service. You'll need a user ID and password to talk to ConnectIQ. If you're using SSL, you'll need a certificate. Indicate the timeout value of about 10 seconds or longer if necessary. Then it interrogates the web service and brings back all the different methods that are available, and you give the name that you're going to refer to the web service within your project. And then you can deselect any tasks that you don't want to use within your project. And then it's going to create this web service for you. The last step then is to call those web services from a business object. So over in Studio, I have a business object for ConnectIQ, and I have a page for each of the tasks that I want to call. So I have a login page, and that's going to call that login task that we created using Configure. If I take a look at it, it references the SOAP web service that I created in System. And then it references the login task. And I can supply the inputs that are needed and consume the outputs. If there's more than one output, it's going to always return it as a collection. And then I can take outputs out of that collection as I need to. And that's what's involved in calling a web service. So now I can show you it in action by going to a process that I've built that's going to call that business object. So I have this login activity, for example, and it's calling my CIQ SOAP business object and calling the login page, passing in inputs, consuming the output. So let's see it in action. I've already published it to the control room, and I'm going to move that over to my desktop and run this process. It's logging into a workflow management system, and it found a list of claims, and it's going to work all 10 claims on the list. What it's doing in the background on the server is calling those web services and navigating mainframe screens on the server, all done in memory. So you don't see it on the desktop. You don't see it. You don't see any of the screens, and that's why it's so much faster than your typical RPA mainframe solutions that go through an emulator. There's a lot of time wasted on the screens painting and waiting for a response to paint those screens. So this one's going through this list, and it's got 2 more claims to go, and when it's done working that list of 10 claims, it'll log off of the mainframe and log out of this workflow system. And it'll update a spreadsheet that's showing you the results of working those 10 claims. We can see that it did update the spreadsheet. I'll open it again, and here's where it worked those 10 claims, and it took a total of 45 seconds. And that is how you call a ConnectIQ web service from BluePrism.